So I've made one vlog post so far, and now I'm about to make a second. I've never made a second vlog post before. Today I'm going to talk about electrical engineering and people on the internet. Electrical engineering first, because it's boring. This past semester I took a course in electrical engineering for mechanical engineering students. I went to every lecture, but it was pretty boring and the exam was pretty hard, so I might be taking it again next year. One thing that seemed interesting was filters. Most natural signals are a jumble of frequencies, and filters were designed to keep only the frequencies you want and discard everything else. Low-pass filters only let low frequencies through. Anything above the cutoff frequency is virtually non-existent, but not perfect, so some of it's still there. High-pass filters, on the other hand, only let high frequencies through and cut off all the low frequencies. Band-pass filters cut off really high frequencies and really low frequencies, and only keep a few in the middle. For example, radios. You want a certain frequency, so you cut off all the rest. You can draw graphs of these filters, comparing the frequency to the fraction of the signal that the filter lets through at that frequency. You get a really stretched looking graph if you do that. So usually they use a log-log plot where the x-axis goes up by a factor of 10 each time, and same with the y-axis. And this is called a Bode plot. Our TA tried to explain to us what a Bode plot was before we learned about filters in class. It was a disaster. I stopped paying attention to her because it sounded like she was saying bowl plot. So instead I drew a picture of a bowl on a coordinate axis with cereal in it. Next up is people on the internet. People on the internet are really funny, especially those on forums talking about topics that aren't too serious but making a big deal of them. I recently rediscovered music by the Decemberists and have been downloading their most depressing songs to help me through exams. Meaning, my life is not as bad as these characters, so I'm all good. Specifically, a song called A Cautionary Song, which I looked up the lyrics because it's the ultimate your mom burn. People on the internet take things too seriously sometimes. One person said that the artist should either stop writing songs about these sorts of topics or lecture the audience so that they wouldn't laugh at things. This is a singer who has a video on YouTube of him in an elevator singing "We Both Go Down Together," an upbeat song about a double suicide. I just don't think he'd take himself too seriously enough. I think the great thing about these songs is sometimes you listen to them and you laugh at them, and other times you feel sorry for this mother who has to go and prostitute herself to get money to feed her family. And it all depends on when you listen to them and what you're thinking at the time. We both go down together.